fourth page of the Maimer, page Reish Mem Gimel. We were speaking about Tשמח Ra'im האהובים, that Ra'im האהובים goes on the level of Chachma Bina, the way they include the Midas and the way they give birth to Midas. And we asked what need is there for Simcha, why are we asking Hashem to bring Simcha to them if they have it anyway. Chachma Bina has Simcha naturally. Chachma has Tainug, light, which is higher than Simcha. Bina is Tשמח. And we started explaining that there are two levels of Simcha. There is a Simcha that's beyond the Koiches HaGiluyim, and there's the Simcha that's called a Simcha Murkeves, a Simcha that's based on and a result of the Koiches HaGiluyim, and that, the Simcha that's the level of the Koiches HaGiluyim is limited, because it's limited by whatever is the cause, by whatever is bringing out that particular Simcha. When it comes to the level of the Etzem HaNefesh, when it comes from the Simcha that has to do from the essence, that is something that, since the Etzem is beyond Hagbola, the essence of the soul is beyond limitation because it's connected with Hashem's essence, therefore it breaks through all barriers, and therefore it's possible for even the barriers of limitations that have to do either by habit, a person was accustomed to do something, he's able to break out of that, or even limitations that he has by nature, he is able to break through that in a moment, because when you're dealing with this level of Simcha that's higher than Seder Ishtalshlos, that can break through all barriers that usually would take a long time to change one's habits, and even more so to change one's natural midas. Because of Simcha put it together, it can break through that. So now he's going to connect this back to the Tשמח, that is why we are asking for the Eibishter to bring down joy to the level of Chachma Bina, because we're looking not for the joy that has to do with Koiches HaGiluyim that they have on their own, but the level of joy that's higher than the Seder Ishtalshus. Again, the fourth page of the copies, Ois Vav. Tשמח Ra'im האהובים, that's what it says, that we're asking Hashem in the Sheva Brachas, make rejoice the beloved friends, shetzarech lahamshich hasimcha b'chachma bina, that we need to draw down joy in chachma bina, hagam shemakim hasimcha b'bina, though the place of joy is in bina, as we said, eim habonim smecha, because bina is the mother of the midos, so she has simcha naturally. Ubechachma yesh reinim shalamayla simcha, and chachma there is the light that's even higher than simcha. So what need is there to ask Hashem to bring down simcha? Ki hasimcha shebebina v'chein ha'onik shebechachma hu dugmas hasimcha va'onik shemitzad koiches HaGiluyim. This joy that's to be found in bina, and this delight that's to be found in chachma, is similar to the joy and the light that comes because of the revealed soul powers. Therefore, the joy that Chachma Bina themselves has in it a measure and a boundary. So now the Rebbe is going to ask, but we know that Chachma has a high connection with higher than Seder Ishtalshus. Though the inner level of Chachma is connected with the inner level of Atik, of Keser, especially since the intention is not just the inner level of Atik, that till it goes all the way to its root, till the inner level and the essence of the Ein Sof. That's what it means, Pnimius Abba, Pnimius Atik. And this is true throughout Chassidus. We have this concept that in one page of the Maimer it will refer to Atik, and then the next page it will say Atzmus, because Atik is, if you will, the representative, if you will, of Atzmus within the levels of Seder Ishtalshus and so on. So they're interchangeable. So if we're saying that Pnimius of Chachma has to do with the level of Atzmus, So why does it need the simcha to be able to break forth the boundaries and to have this higher level of revelation? It has this higher form by itself because it's already connected with Atzmas. We said there's a simcha that comes from the essence, connected with Atzmas, and that's B'li Gvul. It's already connected with Atzmas anyway, the Pnimius of Chachma. Why do we have to daven to Hashem, Samach Teshmach Ra'im HaAhuvim, bring down Simcha and Chachma so that you'll be able to break through barriers and boundaries? So the Rebbe says this connection of Pnimius Abba, that it has to do with Pnimius Atik, going all the way to the level of Atzmos. So this idea, Shaykh LeYichud Pnimi de Ava, the inner union of Chachma Bina, v'yichud tzarech la'oder u'lahamshich. This yichud of this inner mating, this union of Chachma Bina, we need to draw down because yichud pnimi da'avahu rak leprokim. This inner union of Chachma Bina is not a constant thing. This mating, this marriage, is something that happens only during certain periods, and to be able to draw it down even in times when they're not joined, so then we need to have the level of simcha, because this Pnimius Abba only comes down at the time of that union. So we need simcha to cause it to come down at other times as well. So he says 4 lines in the bottom of the page, that's the request. That's what we're saying during Sheva Brachas. We're asking, make rejoice the beloved friends, that should come down to Chachma Bina, this essential joy, until the innermost level and the essence of the Ein Sof, that's totally beyond any category of limitation, because the innate simcha that Chachma Bina has is a limited form of simcha. When you draw down the simcha atzmis, then it's peretzes kol hagdorim. That type of simcha breaks through all barriers. Through breaking through barriers, nase yichud pnimi de Chachma Bina becomes the inner union and mating of Chachma Bina. V'gam yichud zeh, because this is breaking through barriers and limitations, so instead of it being only temporarily, only from time to time, now this union is yichud tmidi, will be an ongoing, everlasting union, because you have this level that's higher than Seder Ishtalshlos that will ensure that it is ongoing. Top of the next page, page 5. The main intention over here in the union of the inner union of Chachma Bina is like any case of mating and union, like in marriage, is you want to have offspring. That through that should come about the union and mating of Zah and Nukva, of Midas and Malchus. He's quoting from the Maimer, the Rebbe Rashab, and Samach Teshmach. That's the primary thing. We're not so much caring about what goes on with Chachma Bina. We're caring about Chachma Bina because it's going to bring about the levels of the Yichud of Zah and Malchus. Let's explain that length in that Maimer, the Rebbe Rashab of Samach Teshmach. Because to draw down the essence, that's specifically where Hashem's essence is drawn down. Where does it manifest? In their offspring, just like in the union of man and woman down here comes about the idea of offspring. Because the union of Zah and Midas, Zah and Malchus, causes a new being. What is the new being of the Midas' union? That causes the birth of the neshamas, just like down here by the union of a chasna and kala, which correspond to Zah and Malchus above, comes about the birth of a child. The same thing, the birth of spiritual children, the birth of neshamas, comes about through the union of Zun. But they can't do it on their own. They need to be empowered from a higher level. It says that El Shabachdeshi Yichud Zun Tzarech Lias Yichud Tchila Yichud Pnimi the Chachma Bin Nasr, that should be able to be the union of Zah and Malchus, of the Midas and Malchus. There has to be first, preceding that, the union, the Yichud Pnimi the Chachma Bina, the inner union, the mating of Chachma Bina. So now we can understand why we ask for the Simcha to come down. That's what it means, make rejoice. We're asking Hashem to make rejoice the beloved friends. And we said, Ahuvim begematria doidim zun. Ahuvim, we said, the gematria is doidim, beloved ones. And beloved ones goes in Chassidus, and Zav, and Nukva, and Midas, and Malchus, even though the Maimer explains that Ra'im is going on Chochma Bina. The request that we're asking Hashem to draw down Simcha and Chachma Bina, that through that will be the inner union of Chachma Bina, who is for Bishvil Yichud Zun, so that it should be able to be the union of Midas and Malchus. That's why he doesn't just say Samach to Samach Reim. Then we would say the joy that we're drawing down is just for the sake of Chachma Bina. No, we're saying Reim HaAhuvim. HaAhuvim indicates because the gematria that's going on Midas and Malchus, because the whole union of Chachma Bina, the inner union of Chachma Bina, that we're trying to facilitate through this making them joyous, is to be able to bring about the level of Ahuvim, the union of Zah and Nukva. So now, based on that, we'll understand why is this part of the Sheva Bracha specifically. Because just like above there's the union and there's the mating that gives birth in a similar, and that's facilitated through Simcha, the same thing down here below, there's the union of Chasna and Kala to be able to give birth, and that birth is by necessity needs a very high level of revelation, and that is facilitated through Simcha. Oy Zayin, page 5 of the Maimon. According to this will also be understood the connection between this request with the joy of marriage. It's known that the creation of something from nothing is only by the power of Hashem's essence. The Chol Ha'eres V'Giluyim, all lights and all revelations, Mekivim Sheyesh Lem Iloi Sibal upon him, since they have some prior cause at least. Ein B'Choltam Lahavas Davar Yesh Ein Loi Bargashasi Ilu V'Siba. It's not in the capability of Atzilus, for example, or Keser, or any type of oir higher than Seder Ishtalshlus, to create as something that feels that it has no cause, since they are aware of them having a cause. How can they transmit something that they do not have? It's impossible for any being to transmit and to provide something that he has no capability. I can't give someone $100 if I only have $5. I can't give someone an explanation of a idea if I don't know that idea, or I don't know the explanation to that idea. The same thing, to be able to transmit a concept which is non-existent in their world, it's impossible. The concept that I made myself is something that doesn't exist in any of Seder Ishtalshlus, except for one place. Hashem's very essence, the coming into being of the Yesh is only by the power of Hashem's essence. That his very being is from his own self. He has no prior cause that preceded him, heaven forbid. So therefore, that is something, that is the only place where the creation of any entity and any being can come from. Is drawing down of Hashem's essence to create something from nothing. During the 6 days of creation, was a result because Hashem desires to do kindness. So therefore, with his kindness, he decided just to give of himself from his very essence, which was necessary to create a yesh that thinks of itself as being independent and not created by anything. But after the giving of the Torah, we had to earn this. So that it should be able to be drawn down from the level of Hashem's very essence, which is necessary. And the only way how you could create something that seems like it is came from itself is through the avoid of Torah mitzvahs. And here the Rebbe adds, even though Torah mitzvahs in general accomplish this, there are certain mitzvahs that are more in tune with this to draw this down. So the Rebbe says, Yesh Loimar, we could say, that specifically and in a revealed way, it's through mitzvahs that are associated with the idea of bligvul. Those mitzvahs that have a connection with bligvul, those are the mitzvahs that will tap into that aspect of Hashem. For example, the mitzvah of having children. Like it's known in the Inyan law concerning birth, to give birth one generation following another generation who gil Ein Sof. It's a revelation of the power of the Ein Sof. Not only is a revelation of the power of the Ein Sof, especially since the idea of birth is also similar to creation of something from nothing, which is by the power and as a result of Hashem's essence, because the child is like non-existent, and all of a sudden they're there. So that's the power of Hashem's essence, and because of that, specifically by marriage, where the Hashem's essence is being brought down in the world, in the koyach hayilada, in the similarity to Bri Yesh Ma'ayin, we need the joy, because the joy brings out of Hashem's essence, like we said before. That's why we request that the joy of a marriage, Samach to Samach, Ra'im, HaAhuvim, make rejoice the beloved friends. The goal of marriage is there should be birth, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. That's why then we are requesting you should make rejoice the beloved friends. We need the essential joy of the essence of the Ein Sof, not just in Ra'im HaAhuvim in the spiritual sense. In the Chosn and Kala down here, we are asking for Samach to Samach Ra'im HaAhuvim. Make the Chosn and Kala down here, which is the simple meaning of the bracha, rejoice, meaning they should have a revelation of that joy that taps into the essence, the joy that's beyond all boundaries. And that answers what I mentioned before. The Chasna and Kala are anyway joyful. Why is there a mitzvah to be Mesameach them? The Chasna and Kala are anyway happy to get married. Why are we asking Hashem to make them rejoicing? Are they sitting around by the table crying? They're happy. Why are we asking Hashem to rejoice them? Because we need that joy that's higher than Seder Ishtalshlus, not the ordinary joy, to be able to facilitate and bring down the power of Hashem's essence in the birth. So we say 4 lines from the bottom. That's also what we say in the continuation of the bracha, that we're asking Hashem to rejoice the Chasna and Kala like the one who formed you had rejoiced in Gan Eden early on, meaning in the marriage he made for Adam and Chava. Drawing down the joy in Gan Eden earlier in the beginning of creation was a result of Hashem's desire to do kindness. Like we said before, there was nothing to earn that drawing down of Hashem's essence in the creation of the world. That's what we're asking, that also now, when we're doing Torah mitzvahs, especially through the joy of marriage, we're asking for this level of Hashem's essence to come down as well. Top of the 6th page of the Maimer, Ois Ches. Just like it was in the day of his chasana, that it says that the day of Matan Torah is considered his chasana. That was the Amshacha of Hashem's essential joy. Even though we know the rule that Simcha breaks through all barriers, but the main time when it breaks through all barriers, or the main primary joy that accomplishes this, is the Simcha of marriage. And the Hamshacha took place during Matan Torah, that we're likening it to a wedding that was through our avodah. When it says in the day of his wedding, this is Matan Torah, the Gemara explains it's not talking about Matan Torah that took place on the 6th of Sivan. Matan Torah took place when the second luchas was brought down on Yom Kippur. The whole idea of the second luchas is that it was accomplished through our avodah. We did tshuva and we earned it, as opposed to the first time around that we got the luchas handed to us on a platter as a gift. So we see the connection of, again, the joy of the marriage bring down Hashem's essence, but now it's connected with avodah, not like it was at the beginning of creation. Not only then, but also now, so similar to this, Ubikiyum, called mitzvahs, and the fulfillment of all mitzvah, every mitzvah. We have that marriage and union that they call mitzvah. For every mitzvah, it has to be the union of the midos and malchus. Like it's brought down Kabbalah. Why do we say it then? Only once before davening, not before every mitzvah. Because when we say it before Baruch Shamar, it's already a nimsh from that for the entire day. And the truth is that Chassidus explains that really Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam encapsulates the same ideas. So that's another reason why we don't have to actually explicitly say it before every mitzvah, because we're making the bracha before every mitzvah. Since every single Jew is like an only child of Hashem, like the well-known teaching of the Baal Shem Tov, it says, my son, my firstborn Yisrael, in the singular, meaning every single Yid is like Hashem's only son. Also, Matan Torah, every single Yid was said, I'm Havaya, your God, in the singular you. The whole mitzvah, the whole echad v'echad Yisrael, simchas HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'chasunas b'nei yechidoi, comes out that the joy that Hashem has in the fulfillment of every mitzvah, every single Yid, is the joy that Hashem has in the marriage of his only son. Just like our joy, the true joy, is by marriage. The same thing, Hashem rejoices when we do a mitzvah because it's our marriage. And we are Hashem's only son. The simcha zuparetzes kol agdorim. This joy breaks through all barriers. The Rebbe goes on to say, "Tes befrat b'chodesh El," especially in the month of El, Shamelch nimtz besodim kol echad Yisrael. The king is found in the field with every single yid. Umekabels kol echad v'echad b'seir upon him yafis. He greets everyone with a smile, with a beautiful face. And manal upon him soichis. It shows him a smiling face and a laughing face. Ve'elo rosh tevis ani lo doidi v'doidi li. El is rosh tevis. I am to my beloved, and my beloved is to me. What did we say? Doidi goes on. Zayin Malchus, Tafilu, Doidim, Shekoyal, Zun, Shezivugam, Al-Rak Leprotim, Prokim, even Doidim, that's going on Zayin Malchus, that their mating is always only temporary, from time to time, just like a marriage is days on, days off for the union. In the month of El, the Doidi of Hashem and the Doidi of the Yidden, in other words, our love is constant. That's part of one word. Moving for this understood. The noise of all in the simchas nesuim yichud kuchabrich v'shchinte. Shemashach kol shalom tzad kima mitzvahs. In addition to the idea of the joy of marriage, the union of Hashem and Shechina, that takes place all the days of the year because of fulfillment of the mitzvahs. Like we said, every mitzvah we have that union, we have that marriage with Hashem. Hine b'chodesh El, top of the last page, Yeser says it's even more powerfully. Befrat b'Shabbos b'chodesh El, even more so on the Shabbos of the month of El, we have this union. Hine b'chodesh El toikim b'shofar lahazi Yisrael's yasu tshuva in the month of El. We blow shofar to make the Yidden aware and to warn them they should do tshuva. Shenamar, like it says in Mitaka shofar be'ir v'am lo yechradu. If a shofar will blast in a city, will a nation not fear and tremble? Harish b'El yesh gam inin ayira v'charad. In El, there's also the idea of fear and trembling. Only during the weekday there's fear and trembling. As opposed to the Shabbos in the month of El. The idea of fear and trembling of the month of El seemingly is not revealed. In Shabbos we don't Below the shofar Shabbos, there's no sadness. Therefore, Shabbos in the month of El is totally love, totally happiness. The main effect of El in the days of Shabbos is the idea of I'm to my beloved is to me, the happy wedding and the happiness of a wedding of Hashem and the Yid. Moving for this understood, Shekol Yisaf of a Torah mitzvahs, any addition in Torah mitzvahs, so the Frat B'chodesh El, especially in the month of El, Peretzes Kol Gedorim breaks through all barriers and boundaries, Koil Gam Gidra goals, including also the barriers and boundaries of exile. The Chol Yisaf of a Torah mitzvah, Shein Yonim Hepcha Golos, every increase in Torah mitzvahs, that the idea of Torah mitzvahs, the opposite of exile, Memaheres Agula Sida speeds up the future redemption. But Yomahu Yiyah Gomer Beis Vam Yi, it says, in that day it will be, which is Beis Pam Yudke, excuse me. Yehi has twice Yudke, Hainashagam Vavke, Yeh Kama Yudke, also Vavke, which is the Yichud of Zoh and Malchus, will be like Yudke. Ukemoishi Yudke Zivugai Tadir, just like it says that Yudke Chachma Bina, their union is always and constant. Kemoikim Bechinas Vavke, Yeh Zivugai Tadir, so too the Zoh and Malchus, their union will be constant. Begula Sida, in the future redemption, Shazi in Nasuin, then there will be the idea of marriage. Kedisu Beshmois Rabba, like it's brought down in Medrash Rabba, Sha'achshav in Erisin, now it's the betrothal, the giving of the ring. Will also love Yi and Nasuin, and in the future will be the chuppah and the union. Speedily nowadays, mamash.